how how important those extensions are. The Valkyrie is so critical for gathering that info, and now she is no longer available to the defense. So we'll see supplementary ops such as, you know, the Mira and the Legion, etc. Anything to give the defenders info. Cade rounding things out. Just annoying. That's really it. Not particularly, not like super good, but no Cade means you don't have to play Thatcher. You don't have to play Maverick. Some teams still do, especially because Bandit is on the board, but it's not necessary.
What also is typically not necessary when defending this top floor, if you bring a Mira, is really extending much into rafters. It's a pretty vulnerable spot for your team to play in. So unless you have something like an Azami, which we're seeing right now by BDS, it could be better off just to have a Mira here and play for those longer angles and also utilize the barbed wire that Solotov has, just kind of creating these sort of choke point positions for an entire quarter of the map. Another thing to note as well, the emphasis on the extensions here, because you have the deployable shield being wielded by Usis. There is a lot of areas on the map now that w7m will have to prioritize more utility when it comes to clearing out some of these areas. And like we both talked about, not having a Ying is going to make that very taxing. They'll have to bring out these frag grenades, explosive blasts by Zoe.
Or anything to worry about, but flash as it is. Dode's already being able to deny the bandit trick from below thanks to the impact launcher. I'm glad they switched off the Maverick because he's definitely a little bit unnecessary here. Thatcher EMP goes out to make way for the thermite breach. I think that was an attempted C4 from the Mira to try and counter the exothermic charge, but it missed. So Dots' charge is successful. Now the IT breach is wide open. It only cost w7m about a minute.
And immediately they'll rotate elsewhere. Get this con wall opened up, but seems like Brede is just around the corner, spots the drone, and is just waiting for the audio cue. Pops down a battery a little early just to make sure this thermite cannot get the wall open for free. Whilst the rest of w7m now looks for a new area of attack. I don't think they really have enough utility to flush out that bandit, so instead they'll prioritize more of this warehouse position. I believe you've got Dots now playing down below to get that double warehouse wall opened up, maybe just putting more pressure points on the Azami, but because of that rotation, she can just walk back into sight and now play off the Mira. She's done her job by wasting about 2 minutes and is still in a very powerful position to hold this down.
Speaking of the Mira, Licketback now with the opening pick onto Dodes. Lobin with the refrag on Shaiko though, and he's looking to push his way further through IT. There is a man down. Brede able to get the refrag. That's Finka done and dusted. I'm surprised w7m ended up rotating the push and uses kills Volps on the rafters. Shotgun out to hold the close angle as well. And to make matters worse, Brede finishes the revive on Licketback. Uses is unsuccessful holding on to rafters, but it might not matter as Dash has fallen off screen. It's all up to the Thermite, unable to do anything against Solotov. BDS with a pretty confident round one as w7m rotate away, but John, I can't help but wonder, why did they not go for the connector wall? They could have very easily just taken the top of those lobby stairs. There was no one playing there from BDS. Just send a couple drones, see that it's clear, walk into meeting, and the bandit can no longer trick.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. w7m just kind of hit a brick wall there and didn't know what to do. They could have just kind of walked around it, but that wasn't in their playbook, it seems. Like you mentioned, there was only Brede by con, so they could have had 2 people stack up from office and lobby. I think they were more concerned about losing their emphasis over by IT, but of course you can just rotate it back to there later once you get the con wall opened up, and because they didn't clear out con, Brede, along with his teammate by Evox/Electrical, they can hold a crossfire into sight. That leaves the rest of his teammates on BDS to then focus on the Raptors position, which again, BDS already did a good job of just wasting some time, burning a little bit of utility, and then falling back to the comfort of the bomb site off of that Mira window too. So great job by BDS to just not overplay their hand or really overcomplicate anything. Just force w7m into those common choke points where they have utility already stacked up.
Now this becomes a much greater challenge though, defending downstairs. a tank assembly. If W7M are able to get the top 2 floors under their control without losing too many bodies, it is incredibly difficult to anchor on this site because the entirety of the floor above both assembly and I believe the, what's the other room? EXO? No, EXO's by the stairs. I can't remember what the other room is called, but...
What, Animus, the little tiny box?
No, not the tiny one. The one, like, if you're forward a little bit.
What is...
Not
yeah,
the bomb
this?
site. To the
Yeah.
right. To the
Okay.
right.
This is
yeah,
Nano.
that room.
This is Nano.
Nano!
Nano.
See, I knew it was
There
something
you
like
go.
that. Anyway, the entirety of
Observer.
assembly and the entirety of the ceiling above Nano is fully destructible. And at that point, like, if you're shoved way off into tank, the breach is open, there's no way you're defending. Wow! Guys, 3 days
holding
back.
a key. I don't know if you ever really... G11, a weapon you typically see at mid-range tops. But he's making that thing like a sniper rifle. The rest of BDS still holding strong on this top floor. Leaky back
He gets away?
destroyed the drone, but just simply ran away. And Breeding with another heater. He falls back down one of the several staircases, I believe the one by Cargo, and there goes Lobin, so almost no vertical left. They only have those boogie drums by Ram, which they've already utilized to a fair extent. And luckily the hatch was soft. I was gonna say, I don't think they have really any hard breach besides the thermite, so that could have been awkward if it was left closed. Now the question is for W7M, the question here for W7M is, how are they gonna execute here? They've got a Logi Bomb and some flashes to work off of, but are they gonna sacrifice their thermite to rotate down below? I'm not so sure from the main breach.
Yeah, losing that buck. The Twitch, not so much, but losing that buck really hurts because, yes, the Ram can do a whole lot, but it's not nearly as flexible. It's not as nuanced as the buck. You just put it down and it goes in a straight line, and Bride is good for 3 kills. What can you do when this guy's floating? And he's looking for another, but finally his reign of terror is ended by Dash, but 35 seconds left. The last 2 W7M players are separated. They're on opposite sides of Tank, and Dash is very low. You can see BDS are watching his position like a hawk. Lickieback overexposes himself, though, and ends up going down. A trade attempt from the Mira, unsuccessful so far. Dode's taking a low HP. Shaiko and Usus finally lock down the round, and BDS are up 2-0.
Off the back of an incredible roam by Bride, you really can't discredit how good his mechanics are, especially in that round. 2 separate 1-for-1 gunfights, then falling off the roam. W7M, once again, just not able to remedy that early aggression. They weren't able to play for trades all too effectively. Don't get me wrong, I don't think they were really expecting to have Dots die like that in such a way, but you are holding that cutoff angle to watch these specific angles, so just didn't seem like he was fully prepared for someone to actually swing onto him whilst the rest of W7M were still clearing out the map. Because like you mentioned, they lost one of their 2 primary vertical operators. It took way longer for W7M to flush out the rest of BDS, and they were forced to kind of just funnel into assembly room and kind of die to crossfires once again. BDS not only have had a lot of success in just their individual play style, but also working together, all with the same goal of just stopping that execute and kind of looking in the same 2 directions while having the man advantage too. It makes W7M's job practically impossible to come back.
Yeah, BDS have always had incredible teamwork, but again, I think that's what's so important about the Usus and Solotov pickup is that they're just, those 2 players are so much more aggressive than what BDS have had in the past, and with the shift in meta, you need that aggression and that teamwork on the aggression to all be able to push stuff at the same time. Now we have storage and control room, one of the rare sites and one of the rare kind of interactions that I'm a big fan of in Siege, where you can both attack and defend the site from above and below at the same time. And I think it's really interesting the way we see a lot of teams will obviously hold the very top floor. They'll have maybe 1 person actually in the bomb site, and the rest are split above and below, and it's up to the attack to figure out what they want to focus on more. Because a lot of times when we see attacks try to do too much on this site and take too much control, they end up falling flat. And if they take too little and try to rush their way into the site, well, if they lose that initial 1v1 to the guy on the bomb site, then the round completely collapses. So it's a very, very intriguing site, I think, on this map. I think it's the most fun to watch on this map, and it looks like W7M right now very spread out. They've got the IT breach open. They've got Vulps on the other side of the map. They've got the Deimos looking to lurk in from below. So they're pushing just about everywhere.
Yeah, however, not gaining a lot of map control besides in the basement, which BDS have chose to kind of avoid as of right now. Again, you have the Death Mark Stanner and both your weapons with plenty of soft destruction. You can maybe work your way below to kind of below some pseudo verticality, get some opening picks, but the rest of BDS just really seem unbothered by this clear above from IT. Again, these Azami Kibas keeping Liquefact pretty comfortable by the top of rafters. And W7M, I guess they're all waiting to bunch up and try to play into the bomb site through this open window, having the Deathmark tracker work their way from down below. But Shaiko expecting that swing after getting scanned. Dots is sleeping with the fishes. No more nanoswarms left here for Grim. And a lot of that space-making capabilities is now down the drain, but they will still attempt this plant, knowing that no one is working their way from down below. Volp's a beautiful kill in the Shaiko, holding this rotation, but the retake is in full effect by the Azami. Liquefact, a big impact play, just barging his way through like he owns the place. But now BDS, they've got to worry about the vertical.
Presence known to this bandit. He just saw him and Brid shuts him down. Bride another beautiful kill and BDS another very well played round, but this time mainly off the back of the Azami of Liquefact, holding down rafters like he lived there and coming down for the retake, killing both the players in sight.
He honestly might just be paying rent up there too. He's been in rafters, I think, every single round.
He's invested
in this series so far. Oh yeah. He's got plenty of stock on Nighthaven Labs. They've just been waiting to cash out, it seems. Timeout called here for W7M. They've not had a great start so far, obviously, on Nighthaven Labs. I gotta say, not only did Liquefact have a lot of success there in the mid-round, trying to go for that retake, finding a double kill, but also Shaiko providing time for his teammates to then get back into sight and go for a more effective retake. Not only that, we discussed the team play in round number 2, Harrison. It was very clear from BDS from the get-go, because of that Deimos playing down below, they had to deal with him first before they deal with the outside pressure. So instead of just having, you know, 2 people playing above, trying to bait on the defuse, and the other 2 going down below to hunt them, no. They all hunt the guy down below in the basement and try to just fight him in a 4v1 fashion, and that only allows Deimos a 1-for-1 trade when you already have a staggering man advantage because of Shaiko.
Yeah, that was super unfortunate for the Dots right there, just getting caught with the Grim launcher in his hand.
Yeah,
nothing you could really do
tragic
about that. And then, I mean, BDS putting all their stock into hunting that Deimos down. I love that play. I love it when defenders, because we see it all the time too, especially on maps like Bank, right? Where the plant will go down in the basement and there's coverage from the hatch and maybe 1 or 2 defenders try to hunt the guy in open area and they both get killed. BDS sent the whole team on that guy. I love the commitment, again, because they knew they had the time, right? They even after they killed the Deimos, a whole 20 seconds left to rotate up and just kill the 1 player left. And now we're back upstairs at Server's Command, but with a very different lineup. John, no more Mira, no more Azami. Instead, they've put more stock in traps with the Kapkan and Legion combo, and now they're going to have Solotov roaming down below on that Solus as well. So I love that BDS are going back to the same site, but still giving W7M a completely different look.
Like,
10 seconds left. Loading new magazine. 5 seconds. Search.
Reloading ammo.
Attacker's objective is to defuse the bomb.
back. Out. So far, BDS flawless on their defensive half and no response just yet by W7M. Here's to hope that they can do a better job of clearing out the map. But BDS, they've been really making w7m work for this control. And like we both mentioned, now they're really emphasizing that point of w7m's inability to adapt by now trying to utilize the map to their fullest extent once again.
Absolutely. So now w7m, between Nighthaven plays at a T1 level, they are 0 for 9 of their last 9 on attack. See if BDS trying to make it 0 for 10. Bride almost gets his head cut off by Volps on the Mav angle up top of the wall. But Bride is able to get away. This time, instead of the con wall being opened into the site, it's fully locked down thanks to those shock charges and the reinforcements on the wall. So despite there being more of a roam presence from BDS, the site anchor itself is a little bit closer to the chest.
Not having that mirror could be potentially problematic, but again, you've got plenty of C4 presence in this round as well, both Bride and Likifek. So far, some info gathered via the goo mine, default cam destroyed in the Habana, not only creating an upward angle by the con wall, but also an entryway so they can try to get inside of the building, then pressure the bomb site close towards pillar. That's a pretty common plant spot if you want to have that main breach player with the diffuser rather than being over by IT, where Maverick currently is. Logi bomb called out. w7m may be anticipating there to still be a roam presence this late into the round, and this is just forcing more of a time waste and a resource cost by w7m when they could just be trying to prioritize the bomb site. Luckily, Dash has an incredible camera set up between two objectives, but again, the offense still on the hunt. Loban eventually catches Likifek off guard for his troubles, but they're down to 50 seconds, Harrison.
That is w7m's first opening pick of the match as well, and it's short-lived. Solotov with the equalizer on Dash. Hibana already done her job at the very least, so it's not the biggest loss in the world. Solotov still alive despite the shots coming through those Mav holes. BDS are starting to be forced back thanks to that Mav, but Shaiko looking to get aggressive. He's got the shotgun out, almost blinded, can't connect. Enough buckshot against the Maverick. Dots left low, Gumine still in his foot. The Warden looking to capitalize. Dodes hits a Kapkan trap, but down in the site, Solus is dead. All of a sudden, it's all up to Bride in a 1 versus 1. Up against Volps the Ash, 2 of his teammates down on the floor. C4 could potentially come out. Bride has repositioned in towards IT. Volps could be aware of it. Remember, they've got that drone in the bomb site, and Volps finishes off Bride thanks to the info that we saw earlier in that round, still persisting. Solotov never spotting it, and w7m are on the board.
Thankfully, like you mentioned, off the back of that drone, it was a more fair fight for w7m in those last couple of moments during red time. But still, they didn't get con wall opened up, just trying to barrel their way in from both IT and electrical. It seemed like a major challenge for w7m, and imagine if they did not have that drone, what could have most likely happened, which was probably BDS winning that round, and despite the timeout, being flawless against w7m's attacks. That was still way too close for comfort, and it looked like although w7m wanted to clear out the bottom floor, it took so much time that they weren't able to get a full execute going underway because they still had to look for people like Likifek, who had only died in the final like 50 to 60 seconds of that round. And speaking of problems on the roam, we talked about basement. I mean, this is where Bride had a field day walking around with the SMG-11, and his teammates were right behind him the whole time, and they were even allowed to fall back into the site. w7m have to do a better job of just working together to clear out this roam extension, or maybe ignoring it completely. I'm not too sure if they're going to opt for something like that because they still have Loban on the buck, so I imagine they'll clear out a little bit, but I'm really interested in knowing what they're going to use dots for here on the blitz.
I think you're right. Probably to ignore the roam. They could just open the breach. Well, although they've got an ace, not a thermite.
Are they going to go for it anyways? Yeah, that's what confuses me. And again, Buck is there with the pocket breach too. This is interesting.
And yeah, I guess it is a blitz roam clear. I would have to assume. BDS are very stretched across the map. The web of influence has grown wider since the last time they defended tank. They've got a lot of utility dedicated towards the roam as well. Bringing a Solus this time. They did have a Mozzie and a mute. A Mozzie and a mute for drone denial last time. Now they've got the Solus and the mute. And they've also got Shaiko on Azami, who's found the opening pick. Dodes is dead. At the very very least, he's already used his breach, but again, never want to lose the opening pick against a team like BDS.
And you can have impact at AK-12. Someone playing close off the blitz when they try to plant that diffuser, obviously holding an impactful angle down below, just kind of sitting there waiting for BDS to kind of walk into that open breach. Unbeknownst to them, there's still someone waiting. So regardless, that is a massive opening kill for BDS once again. W7M, final minute 20, still droning out this first floor. Solotov has not been cleared out from rafters. Leakyfek is right next to him by the rafter staircase. And it looks like because that soul scanner, they have an inkling as to where W7M were trying to push from that position. And the use of the Kiba barriers to give away the intentions of W7M on this rotate. And Shaiko might even aggress against this swing, but the flash will push him away. And instead, he's now going to worry about a blitz.
Pushing in from his backside, but he just isolates the fight on Volps, who's caught with a flash in his hand. And now the blitz much less effective now that all the attackers are coming from the same direction. The feet getting lit up, the blitz very low now. A C4 will absolutely do him in. Loben is now dead. It's all up to the blitz, and Yuzu's finishes off the feet shots that Shaiko was feeding him earlier. Another really, really good round from BDS, up 4-1. Probably looking to make it 5-1 and closing the map out quick.
Question is, will they go into control or back towards command? Weren't for that drone, maybe BDS could have won that top floor bomb site. Instead, they opt for Kitchen. Wild card selection here with a clash as well. Maybe expecting W7M to go for kind of a Hail Mary play, and they just sit comfortably waiting by the objective, looking to counter this. Not the worst idea in the world. We saw Bliss pull off a similar stunt on Garage for Consulate. That flatlined LG's chances of winning more rounds on their attack. But again, for last round specifically, not only good team play by BDS to not give away any map control on that top floor, but also Shaiko. Very good decision making in a stressful environment. You've got that 1v1 behind you from the blitz, which if you give him too much map control, he will just close the gap and try to kill you, also flashing you while there's damage happening from the open breach. Or you've got the Maverick also flashing you. He eventually waits to swing against that Maverick who is isolated and use the Kiba barrier as cover for that engagement as well. And now you can basically just ignore the open breach and focus solely on that single door by the vending machine stairs, which he also had help again from his teammates. It's the same thing over and over again we've been highlighting by BDS, but they haven't really needed to change much in all honesty, Harrison.
Absolutely, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
The clash, I'm really interested to see where Bride is playing. It looks like lobby? Ah, upstairs. Okay, so he's covering the stairs position, making sure that W7M can't get free control of meeting, because again, similarly to storage and control, much of this bomb site is destructible from above. The Glaz and Blitz might be looking to just take a shortcut right into the bomb site. C4 goes out, it'll miss. The Blitz has to be careful of these angles being watched. The Pulse can't land enough shots. In he comes, but Licky lights up his feet and kills him anyway. Dodes is the next to die. Loben is on the ground, and the rush has fallen flat on its face. It's now all up to Dash, who's just previously staring down a clash. Solotov gets dusted, but doesn't really matter. 4 more kills to go, and he doesn't even know Uzis is still upstairs. 3 more kills for Shaiko, and a 5-1 half for BDS.
And again, I think BDS were expecting that kind of rush play, so they had plenty of info provided in the bomb site with that cardiac sensor, not only good at stopping the vertical, but in that case, looking at the kitchen window and realizing, why are there 3 people outside of site window? I wonder what they'll do. And he kills the spearhead. That's Blitz gone. And with there not being a lot of pressure to force back the 3 defenders up above, you already have that locked in too. So BDS not giving W7M any kind of room to breathe. That is a 5-1 split, almost a 6-0 split, down to a 1-versus-1 situation. It's going to be a really big ask here for W7M to even make this matchup close against BDS. And now the offense for BDS here, they're returning the favor. They're bringing out these annoying ops like Dokkaebi and Deimos here. Blitz in the hands of Solotov as well. It wouldn't shock me if they just try to go direct once again off those Logi bombs and a Deathmark Tractor, maybe having Shaiko lurk from down below with the shotgun nade combination and that pistol as a 2-shot at most ranges. Oh, and they get off for that switch to Ace instead. prioritizing hard breach, but I don't blame them. That's still not a bad thing to really focus on for this bomb site because there's so many angles you can open up with both the exothermic charge and the Aselmas that it might just be a little more powerful to have those areas opened up in case you need to rotate last minute.
Interesting that they opt for the Maverick here for BDS, despite there not being any anti-breach. So
yeah,
maybe a little bit of a waste of a pick expecting it, but even then you could bring something like an Ash and just deny any sort of bandit trick from below because the Cade is banned. I feel like Maverick, again, maybe a little bit of a waste, but he's got flashes. You don't get the flashes with the Ash, so I guess it is something a little bit different here. BDS already with the connector wall open, less than a minute. And Azami's already having to spend Kivas to try and protect her Omai, who's stuck in here. IT breach also gonna go down very, very early. Shaiko's got the track on the pulse too, so they can see, I believe, that Loben may have been playing below. I think he came back up. And yeah, he's looking to maybe go back down, but for now, sticking in the bomb site where pulse is much, much less effective.
Little safer, he can hang up that phone call, focus on other matters. There's a vert from down below, trying to flush out bolts here. He's got assistance by his teammate of Dash, but he is just gone, turned to dust by BDS bullets. And not even the vertical. It's uses on an upside down rappel to kill this guy. Solotov joins in on the fun. And as the final Logi bomb rings out, that leaves only Loben and Dots left to pick up the broken pieces. Loben isolated inside of Electrical, hoping that no one will drone out this position in the final minute 10, that he can maybe find some sort of kill before backing away. That hatch is opened up too. He could even fall down below and play for that Nitro cell, but that would leave Dots very isolated here in a 1vx.
Getting targeted by the Deimos once again. Loben may as well be a dead man walking here. The double swing from BDS puts him in the dirt. The plant is going down from BDS. Dots lit up to 1 HP, finished off. A flawless round from BDS. The death spots in connector not working out at all for w7m. You saw it. They were like rats stuck in a corner. Quick peeking, John, like we saw the Omai doing. That's not what wins you games. What we just saw from BDS, that's what wins you maps. Covering every single possible angle before going for the flush out. There's nowhere for those players to move.
Yeah, they quite literally snuffed out w7m there. They spotted, okay, this guy, now that we have the wall opened up, he cannot leave Khan. Let's kill him. They put every bit of emphasis, every bit of stock into killing that guy. I thought even for a moment having someone play down below, but it might have just been a cheeky angle that the Omai couldn't really counter properly. So that's your first opener. And I think it was, what, Loben who tried to re-aggress, or was it either Loben or Dash who tried to swing out as a zombie. And that was shortly felled as well. BDS kind of realizing, okay, all right. So BDS kind of realizing, okay, maybe someone's going to try to assist him. Let's just be weary that someone could re-aggress and we don't want to die for free. So that's a 5 versus 3. And then across the map, Solotov got a kill. So with a minute 10, BDS, instead of just flooding the bomb site and accidentally dying to someone that they had no info on, they take their time. They get a death mark track going on the isolated pulse. He's now gone. So it's Warden holding off against a 1v5 with multiple areas being attacked from. Yeah, you just don't win that. Incredible by BDS. Yep.
You don't win the info on you. Dokubi call, Deimos scan.
Yeah, nope.
Like someone floor banging you, 3 people, like a guy upside down rappel on the breach. Like how much more uncomfortable could BDS possibly make like one single poor player? They threw everything at him. It was crazy. BDS are looking to end things quickly here. Up 6-1. I mean, at least up against Liquid, right? While w7m didn't win a single attacking round, they were still able to make it close. They went 5-1 on the defense, 5 in a row to start the half, but now starting with a loss and starting with what might be another opening death, but Volps fights back. Solotov now dead. The Twitch, not the worst loss in the world, but an important shift in momentum and a follow-up from Dash, even more important. Shaiko with a response. Loben is dead, but BDS is down, and w7m are looking to put themselves back in this game.
Shaiko, almost a catch there on a fadeaway kill. Not going to happen, though. So we're still at a two-man advantage for w7m. Vertical being established by the Leaky Effect, who recovers the diffuser. No, he just drops down. This could be a big play if w7m do not realize, but Dots is there at just the right moment to respond against that Hail Mary. There's at least something for w7m's troubles, but they've got to win 4 more rounds in a row, my mistake, to even confirm overtime as they are down 2-6 against BDS.
They're gonna have to go back to command at some point, unless they play Kitchen into their rotation. I don't know which I'd take at this point. They both sound pretty risky.
To locate and defuse
At the very least, they get storage control, which tends to be a pretty good sight for the defense. They will defend it from below. They've got that Solus. They've got plenty of C4 presence. 4 of them. Everyone except the Solus has it. So be on the lookout for planned rotation points to fall back down to that basement. Once the execute phase comes out for BDS and they start setting up, we should see more and more of those defenders rotate downstairs to use those C4s off the information from the Solus. If we don't see at least 1 C4 kill,
10 seconds left
it's just chalk up the round to just utter failure.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Yeah, that would be a pretty poor success rate. Got 4 total. And then Solus, who is just, you know, almost a better version of Pulse, a more versatile point of that. BDS, they've got tons of opportunity here for Vertical. Leaky Effect and Shaiko in particular. You've got Maverick for the IT wall, so I imagine they put more stock into clearing out the top floor. And they already have info by the opposite side of the map. Maybe off this Logi Bomb call, they'll just try to push in.
Leaky Fack already looking in the Aqua hallway, and the Mira relays the information too late to save Volps. At the very least, is able to get the refrag, but another potential kill. Solotov almost nabs it. The C4 misses, goes way wide. And w7m, just 30 seconds into the round, already feeling the pressure. Solotov comes off the angle at the wrong time and allows the Mira to slip through, but Dodes just completely ignores where the kill and where the shots just came from. Uses now a follow-up on the Lobin. It's falling apart for w7m. The nade trying to force dash off of the pillar. A follow-up to expose him even further. Perfect utility play from BDS. The C4 from Dots misses. We're 0 for 2 in attempts. And it's all up to him against the Deimos being constantly tracked, finally sitting on a jammer, but it doesn't matter. BDS wiped the floor with w7m on Labs, 7-2, and as our first team headed to the playoffs.
And again, off the back of some phenomenal team play too, might I add. They had info, there were 2 people Aqua overexposed and not protected by any coverage, so what do? They open the Aqua door and just